most of the time, right? If you don't have that capability some guarantee about that, and also the second guarantee is not answering when it doesn't know the answer. So it's basically preventing hallucination, right? And hallucination is not just giving you some random answer. It's because sometimes it doesn't have the context to actually answer the question, right? If I'm asking you about what is the revenue, right? If the CEO asks, what's the revenue? That revenue could mean the total revenue of the company. That could mean the revenue of a specific product of the company. It could mean monthly recurring revenue, annual recurring revenue. It could mean a whole lot of different things, right? So if your default agent is not prompting or eliciting the user to make sure of what they're asking, or if it doesn't have a specific source path where it surfaces to the user what it means by its answer properly, then it can have a lot of trouble, right? Because you can have an employee, some data analysts in the company, and they're just like, well, let me present my presentation to the CEO. And they make some PowerPoint and they ask Claude, what's the revenue? And they had no idea that they actually had to ask a very more specific question because the data source is in like this specific table, right? So they completely missed the mark. And they present this to the CEO, and the CEO is like, oh, that's our revenue. And then someone says, wait, but that doesn't look right. And now the data analyst is fired, right? So that's like something that actually happens in a lot of these bigger companies because the data becomes so large that it's very easy for the agent to hallucinate. And the way you prevent this is by building smaller agents. So agents who have less capability, less tools, and very specific system prompts for specific tasks. So let's say you have an agent who's supposed to provide data access. Okay, if you provide data access to certain tables in your database, that is a pretty sensitive thing, right? So the agent who's finding what table it needs to provide access to the user should not be the same agent who's actually providing the access, right? So it's like you have to separate the agent into different things, into different parts. And then instead of using stuff like Hermes or OpenClaw or even Claude or Codex, which are a lot less deterministic, you would have to use something like LangGraph. Okay, so you have to build the harness from scratch using LangGraph and set the deterministic state. So at this point, these are the only decisions that are possible, right? So it classifies the next step into either escalate to a human or propose this as a suggestion to the user and get user confirmation, or go to the next step, which is possibly check permissions. And after checking permissions deterministically in the code, then the decision could be provide the access, right? So you just have to put more guardrails in place and make your system, your AI harness less powerful by default if you want to have security and reliability. All right, and to ask, how do you handle security concerns? Okay, consider of giving AI access to these machines like this. Consider the explosions of 2026 supply chain attacks relating to LLMs. This depends entirely on what you're doing. So if you are simply working on stuff on a smaller scale, right? Anything under like a team of 5, and let's say you're not making like more than, I don't know, like a multi-million per year, then most of the time you don't need to preemptively scale your systems, right? So yes, there's gonna be some concerns, but most of the time it's fine. Like if you're not prompting your AI to do something crazy, it's not just gonna go off and leak all your entire system on the internet, right? It's not gonna do that on its own unless you prompt it to do it. Or even if you prompt it to do it, it probably will tell you, I don't think this is a good idea and you should not do it. So there are existing guardrails within the AI models themselves, and just by the way you prompt them, that will make it kind of safe. Now, if you really have concerns and you have to handle these like security things, then you need to optimize for them, right? So maybe you need like a system to set these environment variables in instead of a .env file, right? Instead of your macOS keychain, maybe you need a cloud-hosted keychain that only gives access to your AI if based on like certain if conditions. But you see, like that gets complicated, right? Or it can give authorization depending on your identity, like who you are in the company. If you're a software engineer, if you're a data analyst, if you're a CEO, you should have different types of access to different parts of the system. So all like it just depends on how much you want to optimize this. Most likely for 99% of people, you don't need to worry that. If you're a business owner or someone who works at a company and you're not as efficient as you'd like, I'd like to help. I'm live every Sunday on YouTube and Twitch at this time below, answering all your questions about AI and content. So come by and we'll figure out how to help you best, where you should start. And if you want more personalized help, I also have a private community you can join where I host weekly calls, whichever one you want. So I hope to see you there next Sunday and we'll figure out how to help you.